I just knew a dose of Buckley's new video would be garbage, so every since for the past few months, Buckley's been advertising his new videos at his community tag, and actually, yeah, I should start by showing that ad because he posts them the middle of every week, and like this is an example. This is the most recent one. Is an example. Last Saturday, I looked at why we're so addicted to YouTube drama, featuring a fight between two people that kinda started over a video game, and then he posts a link. This is essentially also an ad for both videos in case you missed the previous week. And this Saturday, what else could I possibly talk about this weekend? And it shows AOC and Lauren Boebert in the thumbnail. I got that so many things in the US are just left versus right. You side with whatever side you're on, but think for yourself for a second. And of course, this led to exclusively left-wing comments, saying stuff like, oh yeah, Boebert really deserves a separate dose along with MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, others, for example. Yeah, you do have like a few centrists, or I don't know how loose I should use that word. This one says, this is the same woman in different fonts. They're not entirely wrong. I'm not a Boebert supporter either. The USA's recent acceleration to fascism. Think about yourself for a second. Lauren Boebert, how do I do that? So, yeah, both are in the thumbnail, or both are in the preview thumbnail, I should say, and they said only Lauren Boebert can't think for herself for a second. Yo, that comment is complete irony, because you kind of have to now be able to think for yourself in order to ignore AOC not thinking for yourself. So now let's get to the video. I thought it was just gonna be not history, or I thought it was gonna be something like a history thing. Kind of like how there was another video where Buckley, it was it wasn't political. I thought it was gonna be. It ended up being, yeah, the video ended up being just about copyright laws, and I was thinking this might be the same thing. Oh, the captions are already auto-generated, so I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you could probably.
Last week, 3 women who haven't been of childbearing age in more than a decade or two, and so 5 men who likely struggle with maintaining an erection without any medical assistance, overturned Roe versus Wade. Now, you guys know I hate hyperbole.
Yeah. At least it's what I think is going
Unless it's for comedic effect. One might say I'm a hyperbole hypocrite. But,
yeah. He admitted it was he admitted the joke was just hyperbolic, which is actually surprising seeing from Buckley. So he just talks about how the Supreme Court decision isn't making abortion illegal, it's just leaving it up to the states. And he does mock people. He mocks both sides at 2 different points in the video, I think. Yeah, because this one, they made abortion illegal.
Or, they finally upheld God's will.
Yeah, that's the first issue that I had. If you're gonna make a straw man, at least, if you're gonna mock both sides, at least have them both be real, because they made abortion illegal. Yeah, that's what we've been hearing for the past week. And he portrays conservatives as Confederates, as January 6th rioters. Because, yeah, this image is from January 6th. Meanwhile, this is just like a regular approach. This is like one that leftists complained from 2016, which, seeing Buckley's woke content now, I'm surprised even use this image. And yeah, he also mocks him at a southern accent. How many people have you actually heard say that overturning Roe v. Wade was God's decision or whatever? Yeah, because that is just a straw man. So yeah, then he gets into like what it actually means and how it's not that people made abortions illegal. Yeah, he explains it for like a minute and a half before hi, Abraham. He explains it for like a minute and a half, and they said every state can make their own rules.
And given that the United States of America are about as united.
Before joking that America isn't actually united
as oil and water, Kim and Kanye, or Twitter users.
He presents another woke moment. He presents another woke moment by taking a screenshot of Nick Adams' tweet, because that's one of Buckley's many things. I should do a bigger card for Buckley video specifically. Show a conservative tweet that has little to nothing to do with the actual video, or like just as an example. I mean, if I were to do that, it would just be weightless example. Kid Rock is far more popular than woke Beyonce. He says,
and reality,
Twitter users and reality. Whenever Buckley talks about Twitter users, he only talks about conservative Twitter users, even though, for the most part, Twitter is left-wing. Twitter is highly left-wing. The hashtags are curated to be left-wing. Yeah, Buckley, it's really irritating that Buckley just... Yeah, he's lying to himself. We're not stupid. Or at least I'm not stupid. Because I know that his audience, he just panders to his left-wing audience.
States will make it completely.
And then he talks about like how New York is making it legal no matter what. Oh yeah. He also admits that he's pro-choice, which, given his recent content, is really a surprise.
Now, your old pal Buckley is pro-choice.
Yep. However, I wasn't able to guess that.
Oh, that's hopefully not a surprise.
That's hopefully not a surprise.
I love freedom.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was surprised given his recent content.
And hate children. And also, I made videos like my Todd 8.
Yeah, he says because he loves freedom and hates children. Since Buckley's been like overwhelmingly making fun of Republicans and conservatives, I just knew that he'd be pro-choice. Oh yeah.
That guy died of ass cancer last year. Can you believe the body didn't have a way of shutting that whole thing down for him? And for the what about it?
What about it?
This is in the audience who just can't take each issue on its own and have to compare it to every other fucking thing on the planet. Yeah.
So, yo, when he talks about, like, pro-choicers, or, I mean, yo, he talks about how he's pro-choice, and he says, what about 30 other things that have to do with the thing you're talking about? He doesn't do this for pro-lifer, yeah, he doesn't do this for pro-lifers talking about he doesn't do this for the other side, basically, because he didn't say, he doesn't, like, give a perspective about pro-life, and he says he doesn't include a slide of like some feminists saying, what about 30 other things that have nothing to do with what we're talking about, you know, like that's the other thing that I really hate about Buckley, that he's only going after the easy targets. He's only going after, like, as I said earlier, the conservatives and Republicans overwhelmingly. He doesn't mock that, I'm pro-choice when it comes to wearing the mask or getting the jab. I mean, I'm glad he is.
I'm also pro-choice for companies who don't want...
I'm glad he is, just not as many people make that argument compared to the, whataboutist left. Actually, come to think of it, I don't think Buckley ever called leftists whataboutists for anything. He only described that to conservatives. Because the thing is, when conservatives, or I mean, yeah, when liberals make fun of pro-lifers, they say, oh, you're pro-life and you're pro-mass shootings. Well, I mean, they don't exactly say it, but they might as well. They might as well, because that's basically, they say, oh, if you're against abortions, you should just ignore it like you do mass shootings. Like, that's the type of ridiculous nonsense Buckley should be responding to in this video also, because he masqueraded as a not offensive, as a centrist, mocking both sides, only for this video to only be
unmasked people to enter their businesses, or who don't want unvaccinated workers coughing on their employees. I already said I thought the government...
So, the thing is, I will give Buckley that he did have nuance. I'm just asking if that really counts when it was only for 5 seconds on the screen.
Moron.
It was like 5 seconds at most. Oh, he also said this.
Go look it up, and then come back and call me a dirty lib anyway, because you're a fucking moron. But...
yeah, he just talks about how he did a video in the Freedom Convoy. Well, I mean, Buckley had such a woke take on that anyway, because he simped for Fauci, and he simped for Fauci, saying you can't question Fauci because he's the science. And he also said that Confederates, since they appeared at the Freedom Convoy, that everyone's a Confederate. That it's their fault that Confederates showed up. Okay, and then he presents this meme, which I don't even... So you're saying you think businesses should be able to pregnant women that can't work? Oh. I mean, I guess he was mocking pro-choicers, I guess. And then he talks about the healthcare and how, like, companies don't really care about the whole, oh yeah, talks about Trudeau.
Dick's been a part of your life, they feel responsible for you. Unlike a lot of regular dicks out there who don't want to pay child support. But anyway, in the Socialist Republic of Canada, where King Trudeau...
This is what idiots who don't know how Canada's elections or political system works thinks it. This is what idiots who don't know Canada's elections or political system works at all think. Trudeau, the autocrat, and the liberal oligarchy are dangerous to Canada's democracy and must go. That's just one guy. There's like very few people who actually criticize Trudeau. Well, I mean, nowadays, like, well, I shouldn't even say nowadays because it implies it. So, yeah, people don't even criticize Trudeau as much as they did anymore. I've only seen leftists criticize him in the 2019 election because he wasn't leftist enough, and they said vote for Trudeau anyway, because it's like it's like vote blue no matter who in America, except for Canada. They said vote for Trudeau because even though he's basically conservative, he's still better than the actual conservative candidate. Or he's not left-wing enough. Yeah, there's a difference, I guess.
Trudeau hands out decrees from on high, as the internet would have you believe.
Buckley did it again in this video. He said the internet would have you believe. Buckley obviously like never talks to conservatives, or I just don't understand how someone could be so left wing and use Twitter. If you use Twitter, like, I should do like another stream where I look at Buckley's woke Twitter page, cause he posts there every once in a while. He doesn't post every day, just like a few times during the week, throughout the month. So his tweets are exclusively left wing, I should say. It's further left wing than his actual YouTube channel. It is like videos. It's just because the way Buckley posts, his tweets should be curated to see left wingers, and since he almost exclusively looks at the left wing side of things, obviously the internet isn't going to be left wing, or I mean right wing. So yeah, I just want Buckley to answer that too. When was the last time he actually heard anyone criticize Trudeau? I mean, besides the Freedom Convoy, which was months and months ago, it was like, what, in January? Yeah, it started in January and it lasted for maybe a month. So, I mean, I personally haven't heard anyone criticize Trudeau since then.
Isn't as hot button of an issue here. In fact, 79% of Canadians.
Actually, yeah, because I would like to hear him answer that too. And since, like, I would be, like, more curated to right-wing stuff, theoretically, I should have heard more people, like, criticize Trudeau and say that he's a liberal oligarchy.
And 5% being pro-fence sitting. It's a big deal there. And I really don't get why. Like, I get that for the most part, this is another left versus...
things the US are just left versus right. You side with whatever side you're on, but think for yourself for a second.
Right issue in the US, and you just go with whatever side you're on. But think about this for a second, okay? Especially...
Yeah, think about this.
Those of you who are anti-abortion. Assuming...
Anti-abortion. I don't know if it's necessarily... I don't know if it's nuance or lack of nuance. Yeah. Alright, I'm not gonna love your sons for who God created them to be, even if that is rough.
There are no hypocrites in the bunch. Which is
Notice how he was like, yeah, he was like saying that all spoke, assuming there are no hypocrites. He doesn't like actually say what the hypocrisy is, so I don't know if he thinks that pro-lifers or pro-mass shootings. Actually, I'm surprised that didn't come up in this video. He didn't say anything about guns, since Buckley is like pro-choice and a feminist.
It's a big assumption.
He said, which is a big assumption.
You know, conservatives who get pregnant will have their children and raise them to be conservative.
Theoretically, yes. Theoretically, yes. I mean, that's the most I could say, that in theory you could assume that parents who are one side are going to raise their children to think exclusively that side, while parents of the other side are going to raise their children to exclusively think the other side.
So this decision doesn't affect...
People are going to keep having kids. They're not heading down for the clinic for the clean out special.
Them anyway, right? Business as usual. Plopping out more kids.
He puts this weird fake woke ad. Woke fake ad, I should say.
Kids, taking them to church, feeding them Texas beef and Idaho potatoes.
Church feeding, yep, gotta include church.
Raising them right, so they become God-fearing patriots with real family values.
Gotta include God too. And he also does them in an annoying southern accent. these people want you to, these are the people you want to stop from procreating, just so you know. That's what you're saying you want. Oh, I got 2 viewers. That's a record for Buckley streams.
So, if only liberals want abortions, then conservatives, why do you want to stop that? In fact,
probably because they. I could make a political joke here. Probably because, unlike liberals, conservatives don't want people dead for their political beliefs. Plus, conservatives and like pro-lifers, they're like arguing for the child. They're arguing that it's a human fetus and that it's like defenseless. It can't speak for itself. And
maybe this is how you get your rights back, lady.
I don't know if I should get like logical and political or fake political ad, I guess.
With political ads like this. Conservatives want to ban all abortions. But think about that for a second. Who's getting all of these abortions? Liberals. And if they can't get their abortions, they're going to have all those children. All of those heathen babies that they'll take to drag shows. Let's watch these Disney propaganda films where 2 women are affectionate.
And of course he's mocking. Alright, I gotta go back a few seconds. All those heathen babies that they'll take to drag shows. So he's mocking as if, like, I mean, yeah, these are like things. The drag show is something that conservatives were concerned about. They were saying that drag shows do become sexual. They say that drag shows become sexual so that children shouldn't go to those. And I think it was no, that was a teacher, not a drag queen. Because I was gonna say that Ruin Leon showed a teacher who was mocking conservatives, saying that teachers are groomers, only for that teacher to be I don't know. I don't like. Yeah, the drag show in question that actually did become sexual. Monkey did a stream about it, Ranting Monkey. What these Disney propaganda films where 2 women are affectionate
towards each other. Let them pick
I mean, little to no conservatives were actually concerned about that. I don't even know what that movie was. Because I know that for Turning Red, specifically, Monkey and Ranting Monkey and Jack Cochran did, like, essentially prove how that movie was sexual, and that it was basically just to rip off the Teen Wolf, just animated and turned into a Disney film.
the gender they want to be, teach them critical race theory in their math textbooks, and effectively create.
Oh yeah, so the picking the gender, I don't think that wasn't like exclusively. Yeah, so I mean, since he's Buckley, since he's woke, he's gonna like obviously misinterpret things. He's gonna like misinterpret things. Conservative. He's gonna misinterpret conservative arguments. So what they're saying is that, and I heard Matt Walsh talk about this too, is that he was responding to a transgender who was like taking a look at him reading a book to kids. Matt Walsh said something like, because the transgender, her name was Samantha, I guess, she said something about how 4-year-olds are not going to understand the concept of bigotry, and so Matt asked her, if they can't understand bigotry, how can they understand transgenderism and them wanting to transition into like children? And that is, it's just like a lot deeper than what Buckley actually mocked. If Columbus met 7 natives and murdered 4 of them, how many natives will he still need to kill to finish his genocide? Teach them critical race theory in their math textbooks. So yeah, Buckley's saying that Buckley's mocking that as if it doesn't happen, even though Scribelight in one of his streams said that the curriculum actually is teaching like critical race theory and math. So Buckley can't mock that as if it's not happening when it actually is, when Scribe proved it to be. I should probably get Scribe to watch this video, and Monkey and Jack. Oh, it's on mute.
Who just want everything given to them. That's right, another generation of children looking for handouts, who want free college, free healthcare, free housing, and all at the expense of hardworking Americans like you. Is that what you want? When it comes to choice, give women the right to choose, or choose a world full of leftists. You run that ad in red states, and by the end of the week, I guarantee you'll have them lined up around the block volunteering to man the vacuums themselves.
Oh. This is where we line up to volunteer to help liberals get abortions, right? So, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that up to you. What do you guys think of that ad? Unfortunately, I do have to get going. I have to get going pretty soon, so I forgot what the thumbnail of the video was, because I want that to actually be, because I want that to be the thumbnail of this video, or this stream, I should say. Add to queue, add to queue in full screen. Screen share. I don't know how to get this full screen. How we get it to be like this. Oh, I also noticed that he didn't even like. Yeah, because every time like Buckley has a thumbnail, he doesn't create his own thumbnails. He just leaves it up to whatever is in the slide. So this is actually, I don't want to say a first for Buckley because I'm pretty sure he's done it before. There's no way he hasn't in a channel that's like over 12 years old. It's just different, I guess. Different for, yeah, I don't know how to make this full screen. In the meantime, I could check a few. Actually, no. Because I'm gonna say I could maybe like take a look at the comments, and if I did that, then that would get rid of this as a thumbnail, even though I want it to be the thumbnail. I mean, I could probably like create my own thumbnail later. I mean, I've done it before. I just don't know how it actually. I don't know how it actually works. The vocal filter on Buckley's voice when he said liberals made by Wick. That was cringe. That was cringe. So, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Buckley is woke, so it's not surprising that he's pro-choice and